There's something called the 13th month pay.
And I like that we have the IT budget. If you need a new computer setup, you have the offsite savings.
Today, we're going to talk about the really important thing, money, compensating our offsite team, what it looks like, and how it's different than the United States. Welcome to the Offsite Team Member Podcast, where we understand the challenges you face as a DME business leader in your quest to find dependable and affordable employees. We also know Brightree, so we're here to help you out. I'm here with my good friend, April. How are you today, April?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. Today, we're going to talk about the really important thing, money, compensating our offsite team, what it looks like, and how it's different than the United States. And because things are different, and we've kind of figured out how it looks over there as well, too. And I think most people are pretty happy. Last week's podcast, we were talking about the difference between the United States and the Philippines in terms of just living. Now, talk to me about money differences. I mean, granted, you only spent 8-9 days in the United States, but money differential, besides the Philippines use the peso, we have the US dollar. What's the difference money-wise between the United States and the Philippines?
I'd say it's more cheaper in the Philippines.
It's a lot more affordable in the Philippines,
yes,
isn't it?
It's affordable in terms of food, and then the clothes are cheaper as well. And we love bargaining.
Yes, you do.
I don't know I don't know if it's a thing in the United States, but we love bargaining here in the Philippines. So to make the price a little more cheaper and affordable. And then another thing is we love going to the market. We have this small market instead of going to the groceries, which is much more cheaper. So as you can see, a lot more bargaining.
Yeah, and you have shops everywhere. It's almost like, I was going to say it's like a 7-Eleven, and I shouldn't say it's like a 7-Eleven because you have 7-Elevens everywhere in the Philippines. So in addition to the 7-Elevens, there are all these little mini shops that you buy and buy goods. And what are those shops called? Do they have a name?
Yes, it's called convenience store and groceries, or the mini mart.
Okay, so same thing as here. Yeah, we would call them convenience stores, mini marts. Okay, so let's talk differences between finances between the Philippines and the United States. And one of the nice things for our offsite team clients, you don't have to worry about this. What we do is we charge everyone a straight flat rate, and we just bill you. We bill that out as is. Now, but one of the things that we do is typically in the United States, we have about 7 major holidays, 6, 7, everyone knows the Easters, the 4th of July's, Christmas, you name it. How many holidays do you guys typically have in the Philippines?
In a year, it's around 20 to 22.
20 to 22 holidays. It's amazing. And so one of the things that we do is most of our offsite team members like working on holidays, but we're required to because we're BPO. We have to follow all Philippine law. So if one of our team members works on a holiday, do they get extra pay?
Yes, they do. So it depends on the holiday, because out of the 22 to 24 holidays that we have, there's this special holiday, and there's also a regular holiday. When we say regular holiday, we have to pay them double.
So double time. So they work on, let's say they work on, what would be an example of a double time holiday?
We can use Christmas.
Okay, so if they work on Christmas, we wouldn't have our employees work on Christmas, but let's say they did. If they did, they'd get double time.
Yes, they get 200% of their daily rate. So that's what they get. Now, if it falls on, I'd say, November 1st, which is All Souls Day, then they're going to be paid 30% additional. So that's what we call a special holiday.
And there are lots of special holidays. I was surprised at how many special holidays there are. Now, let's be honest. Why are there so many special holidays?
As what I've mentioned to you, it's more fun in the Philippines, our country slogan. So going back to that one.
Every day is a holiday. Oh,
yes.
My. Yeah, so there are a lot of holidays out there, and so on those, you get 130% pay is how things are set up. And we have a great bookkeeper, and our bookkeeping staff figures all of that out. So our US-based clients don't have to figure out, okay, what are the 22 holidays, and how does that work, and what does that look like? Other things that I had never known until we had hired several offsite team members. There's something called the 13th month pay. Now, tell me about that. What is the 13th month pay?
So a 13th month pay pay is a labor law in the Philippines. It
Mm-hmm.
started in 1975. It's one of the proclamations from one of the presidents back then. So since then on, it states that the employer has to provide a compensation of 13th month pay, which is equivalent to at least 1/12 of the annual basic wage. So
Mm-hmm.
basically
And
the basic
everyone
pay.
who works gets a 13th month pay. It essentially comes out, I like to call it a Christmas bonus. Everyone has their monthly salary that they have. But so for example, with our offsite team members, I think it's November 25th, they're somewhere between November 25th to December 1st. We give an extra full 1 month pay salary to all of our offsite team members, and we take care of that. And one of those, one, we take care of it, but two, it's also the Philippine law requires it. We are a BPO, we have to do it. You have to, and it's kind of built in. And most of you guys use it for what? Christmas presents, or is that typically what it's used for?
For Christmas present, for food in the table during Christmas and New Year, and also to give out to those family members that came in over Christmas. So Christmas morning, they'll come over. We have this thing like the small envelope with the money, and we give out to the small kids. So that's
that's cool how that happens. So yeah, it's a really big deal. 13th month pay. I didn't know until we started paying directly. I'm like, this is I had never heard of such a thing. And, in the United States, we would just call that a Christmas bonus. And, but no, it's regulated and it's there. Financially, when people are looking at choosing a good employer, what are they looking for?
First and foremost, I would say the health card benefits.
And we talked about that in the last episode. Healthcare is vitally important. If a company does not offer healthcare, people are going to probably look to move on, aren't they?
Yes, because it's really important, as you know, that most of the time we pay cash or out of pocket. So having that as one of the incentives that we can get from a company is really amazing. I mean, it's like for me, it's beneficial for me, especially I'm a mother, and if I can also get one for my kids, then that would be really nice. So that's one thing. And here at Offsite Team, we do have that health card reimbursement where they can purchase a prepaid health card and then they can use it if well, God forbid, but if anything happens to them, they can use that one. It's really going to be very I would say it's easy. You won't have to think about money for to pay the hospital. You know how
when you're sick, you go to the hospital is what happens.
Yes. That is right.
Now let's talk about internet, because that, one of the things that we do offer our offsite team members is we reimburse for your internet and IT. Tell me a little bit about that. Is that important, or, how's that set up?
It is important because we're working from home. So you have to have your internet connection. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to connect and use Brightree and contact your team members. But here in Offsite Team, it's really nice to have that internet budget that we have. So internet allowance is what we call it, that we provide each team member. And it's one of those things that instead of you thinking of budgeting or removing that out of your budget, we provide it to them. We take care of that one so they won't have to think about it.
Absolutely. And it was one of the reason why we did it is I didn't want any of our offsite team members to have to decide, do I feed my family, or do I get internet, or do I buy? So it's very much set up. Here at Howard's, where I'm recording this, I don't have to worry about the computer. The company obviously buys the computer for us. But as people who work from home, sometimes you might have your hourly rate, but then you have to buy your computer, you have your internet, just like any other business. And so what we offer is we pay for everyone's internet, but then we also have an IT budget that if they're not using it on a month-to-month basis, what we do is we bank it. So if and when they need a new computer, they have money in their bank account to spend on a new computer. We want a high top-notch desktop computer because, you're spending all day working on the computer, 2 monitors, so you can see at least kind of what's going on. That's vitally important, isn't it?
Yes, it is important. And I like that we have the IT budget because it's really important. Say, for example, you have your own computer and then you join the offsite team. Now, of course, the computer isn't going to be working same thing as when you bought it. So it will depreciate and then it will slow you down. But having the IT budget will make you feel comfortable knowing that if you need a new computer setup, you have the money in the bank. I mean, in the offsite savings for you to use it.
And in the United States, we would say, well, of course, it's the same thing. If you go into work at any business, they're not going to say, hey, bring your computer to work. The only profession that that might be the case would be like an auto mechanic or a plumber. Some of the trades, the carpenters in the United States, you actually are frequently assumed to bring your own tools, but we don't force that for you. And even like, for example, with this podcast, I was like, oh, I haven't gotten April a nice microphone for the podcast yet. So you sound better on episode 8 than you did on episode 1. That's totally my fault. I had forgotten about that. So the cost of labor in the Philippines is significantly cheaper in the United States. And a lot of it is there's a lot of people in the Philippines, aren't there? It's the highest per capita, especially Manila is the highest per capita city in the world. And so tell me what it's like for people trying to find work in the Philippines. Is it really easy to find a job or is it really hard? Tell me about that.
It actually depends. I mean, it depends on you, your potential, because number one, I'd use BPO as an example. If you applied in a BPO, it doesn't matter if you have a college degree or not, but what's important is that you know how to communicate. So if you don't know how to communicate, unfortunately, chances are you will not be picked. So that's how it is. And on top of that, there's a lot of BPOs in the Philippines. You also have to consider the traffic, the hours going back and forth. That's one of the things that you have to consider. I mean, I'd say it's easy to find a job, but for you to land the job, that's one of the things that you have
to find the right desirable job it can be pretty hard. One of the things that we've noticed, how do you pay offsite employees? Nice thing is with the internet these days, all we do is we wire you money. So like the moment I remember when we paid you the very first time, you're like, sir, I just got it. And it was like 15 minutes later. So this is, welcome to 2023 where it's really easy to pay. We go from Offsite Team LLC to Offsite Team, the BPO in the Philippines, and then it goes right to your bank account and bam, 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 you get paid. So it's really quite easy in this global economy, I guess is how I would say it. So in other ways of paying team members and families and how finances work in the Philippines, what else should I ask you?
If I can just add, we also have the attendance bonus, by the way.
Yeah, so we've argued back and forth over that. I'm like, do we really need to have a bonus? But it's one of those things we do choose to have an attendance bonus hey, it's very important to show up on time and show up for work every single day. Maybe I should do that with my US-based team members, but that's not typically a thing. So yeah, we do offer attendance bonuses as well too, because we want to make sure, hey, when we need to answer phones, when we need to, confirm orders and bright trees, we want to make sure that the team member is there, and that's vitally important, isn't it?
Yes, it is important, and it makes the morale very high because they come into work, they show up to work, and I'm just happy knowing that most of the team members for the offsite team does not have an issue with the attendance. So most of us were like, it feels like it's much more important than getting your basic salary. It's really big.
And we also have vacation time and paid time off. So it's not like they don't get time off. We just say, hey, please give us 2 weeks notice when you're going to go take an extra day at the beach or something like that happens. So it's not like, hey, you have to show up to work every day. No, that's not the case. Well, good. Well, exciting. Now, I guess other things I should ask you about how we pay our employees. Anything else I need to ask? Obviously, we pay every other or twice a month is how we compensate our team members.
We pay twice a month. Yes. So that's every 10th and 25th. And since it's going to be burn months next month, September, we have to be ready for the 13th month, which everyone is really excited about. And also, good thing about Offsite Team is that we have this annual meet and greet with one another. We have the Christmas party.
Oh yeah, Christmas party. Those are fun. And
and we also have, I think twice, because when you are in the Philippines, we get to meet you. We get to have team buildings.
That was fun too. We went zip lining with the group. So it's one of those things, even though we're all meeting remotely, we are part of one big office team. So we try to do that. And I actually have some fun things we're going to start doing, but you don't even know about it yet. So I can't say it on the podcast yet. So we have new things coming as well too. Well, good. Well, for anyone who is interested in hiring a remote online Filipino specialist, did I say that right? You would call yourself a remote Filipino specialist. April and I, we are here. And what we do is we streamline the recruitment process. We take the burden of sourcing, vetting, interviewing. Like right now, we have 3 fully trained Brightree trained employees ready to be placed in your DME company. And they're ready to rock and roll. But until they get placed, that's totally fine. They have more than enough work in our primary company, Howard's Medical Supply. But until then, if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to us at offsiteteammember.com. And April and I would absolutely love to talk to you. But until next week, we're going to talk about phone calls and communications. I would say we have a lot of phone calls at Howard's Medical Supply, and our offsite team members, they answer most of our phone calls and take payments and do that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that next week, and that'll be fun and exciting. So until then, I hope everyone has a most excellent day. Thanks, April.
Thank you.